Fox News.
It is time to take the quiz.
5 days a week, it's 5 questions in less than 5 minutes. We ask people on the streets of New York City to play along. Let's see how you do.
In the Christmas classic, It's a Wonderful Life, which lead character says the line, "Say brainless, don't you know where coconuts come from?"
Never saw it.
George Bailey.
How'd you do? Exactly. These get tougher, so hang on.
Take the quiz every weekday at thequiz.fox. Thank you for taking the quiz.
I'm Benjamin Hall, Fox News correspondent and New York Times best-selling author. Join me for my brand new podcast, Searching for Heroes. Every Sunday, I'll speak with a few silent but noteworthy heroes, everyday people who illuminate stories of compassion and are true embodiments of heroism. Make sure you subscribe to this series wherever you download podcasts and leave a rating and review.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What they know so far. I'm Sasha Nixon. Here's what's trending this hour. Indy Metro Police are investigating a fatal shooting that happened at an apartment complex on the west side Friday night.
The officers located a car that had holes in it and also located an adult male in that vehicle. Indianapolis EMS arrived and unfortunately pronounced the adult male deceased. Another adult male was located and he was transported to Eskenazi Hospital in very critical condition.
IMPD Captain Don Weilhammer. He says the shooting may have been the result of a disturbance, though specific details were not provided. But the Indiana Hoosier men's basketball team fell to 8-3 on the season with an 85-68 defeat to Nebraska. Indiana's head coach Mike Woodson said the offense was producing until the final 6 minutes of the game.
I thought we had great looks. Goody had a lot of excellent looks. We had good looks tonight. We just didn't make them.
He's referring to Luke Goody, who scored 9 points and made 3 three-point shots. Indiana's back in action against Chattanooga next Saturday. And a doctor has advice on what toys to avoid for young children for safety reasons this holiday season. December is National Safe Toys and Gifts Month. Adam Keating, a pediatrician for the Cleveland Clinic, says any part of a toy that can fit through a toilet paper roll is a choking hazard for kids under the age of 3. Toys with magnets and button batteries are a concern as well because a child can swallow them. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Now here's the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Tonight, soaking rain is expected. Low temperatures near 40 degrees. Tomorrow morning, scattered showers will be around. Cloudy skies will linger through the afternoon. High temperatures in the upper 40s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
Technology Recyclers is Indiana's best choice for computer and electronics recycling. A Hoosier veteran-owned company, Technology Recyclers is R2, Rios, and MAID certified. 100% landfill-free and always guarees complete data destruction. And you can expect free business pickups anywhere in Indiana at tech-recyclers.com or call 1-800-237-3887. Technology Recyclers, the official sponsors of tomorrow. That's tech-recyclers.com for a stress-free experience in recycling.
Hey, don't take your eyes off the road, just listen. What you hear right now? Your customers hear it too. Get your message heard. Text BUSINESS to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
The holidays are happening at Diamonds Direct. Now through Sunday, it's our last chance sale with 20% off virtually everything. Plus special financing options up to 5 years. Plus special designer appearances. Our 20% off last chance sale ends Sunday. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com.
Prepared to deal with difficult people and situations at Sandler Training's 90-minute online seminar Tuesday, 2:30. Proceeds to Salvation Army. 317-678-8800.
The Indianapolis Public Library. More than just books. Visit your local branch today.
What a difference a day made. 24 little hours.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Hot off the heels of another successful year of the Indianapolis 93 WIBC Radiothon, Salvation Army. always very exciting to fundraise for that. And the audience is always so incredibly generous to support it and then continue to outdo each other, or outdo themselves, I should say, year after year. We got a lot in store for the show this evening. Several guests are going to be on the program. Producer Allison is going to tell us about a very exciting trip that she had for her 30th birthday to Machu Picchu in Peru. I'm incredibly jealous. It's a place that I've wanted to visit for a long time, and she's going to tell us about the ruins up there. Conspiracy Carl is coming on to the show later in the next hour, and he has a theory to proffer on the origin of these mysterious drones that have invaded the airspace over New Jersey. So I think you're going to want to stay tuned for that. And then also in the next hour, I have a conversation with Kendall and Casey about the 5 worst presidents in United States history. And I think you may be surprised, the ranking could shift. Developments remain to be seen in the next 2 months, but I think the outcome could ultimately surprise you. So stay tuned for that conversation. And I wanted to get into the drones for the first segment. But before that, Producer Jack, have you ever seen something so monumentally stupid it leaves you slack-jawed momentarily to awe in the magnitude of its sheer asinine nature?
Not that
Not recently?
No.
Okay, well, I had an experience coming into the parking garage. I don't understand people. Okay, so this extended cab truck, you know, like a 4-door truck with a long nose and at least a 6-foot bed. So this is a rather long vehicle pulled into the parking garage. And then as they pull past the parking arm, they take a hard left and block both lanes of traffic to the parking garage because they're trying to execute what had to have been an 80-point turn. I don't know what the logic is. And like the security guard is yelling at the guy, hey, you gotta go up all the way in the parking garage to turn around. You can't just take up both lanes of traffic. But I mean, it was too late. He was committed at that point. So I'm sitting there for like 7 minutes while this asshat blocks up the parking garage and keeps people from entering or exiting. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm slack-jawed at the stupidity of drivers in downtown Indianapolis sometimes.
No, I hear you. That's happened to me before too.
But I wanted to vent about that. Thanks for tuning into the show. This is Saturday Night on The Circle. I'm your bespectacled curmudgeon, Ethan Hatcher. That's producer Jack on the board. Beep, 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 pushing the buttons and doing the things to make the show function. Of course, the story of the week, producer Jack, I'm sure you've heard, is those drones that are flying over the airspace of New Jersey. Some dismissed it at first, but after witnessing it in person, this News Nation reporter was stunned and concerned.
Well, I got to be honest here. You know, when this story first came out a few weeks ago, as a resident of New Jersey, as a journalist, I didn't pay it much credence. I thought it would turn out to be a bunch of pranksters and this would all be over by now. The experience I had last night, however, changed the way I feel about this story completely. What I saw was more sophisticated than I ever imagined.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
I don't know if producer Jack, you've seen any of the time-lapse photography, especially some of the nighttime views of the airspace in and around some of these populous cities in New Jersey. It's incredible. You can see the drones crisscrossing over the sky. It's ridiculous. They're like fireflies. They're so numerous.
Yeah, and I can see like how people would find that a bit concerning.
Well, here's what's extra concerning is their energy signature is unlike anything that's available in the market. So, of course, when you run an engine that creates friction, friction creates heat, and heat creates a signature that can be traced. But these drones, for whatever reason, aren't registering as creating a heat signature. This according to the police.
The department says these mystery drones evade detection because they don't give off heat like regular drones. Why do you think that is?
We don't know. It's just something that we haven't, it's not something that we've had our hands on. It's not something that we've experienced.
Something they hadn't experienced until now. One of their officers called 911 after seeing 50 of them come off the ocean.
Advised after we made contact with that officer that there were 50 that came off the ocean.
50?
50. That was my reaction also. There were 50 that were coming off the ocean.
And this is a sworn officer?
Sworn officer, yes. We contacted state police, we contacted the FBI, we contacted the Coast Guard, at which point the Coast Guard went out with their boat, and they reported seeing 13 following their boat. And then the Coast Guard also advised that they went over them about 300 feet and had a wingspan of about 8 feet.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma.
So where are these things coming from? If they're coming from the ocean, I mean, they can't be traveling across the entire Atlantic Ocean. I don't think so. So they have to be launched from an independent platform somewhere out there on the water, at least theoretically. Of course, the official word is, Producer Jack, this according to the Pentagon, oh, it's not from a foreign adversary and it's not the United States military. It's probably some hobbyists that have access to technology that police have never seen before that doesn't create a heat register. Here's a theory that's being offered by the congressman of New Jersey, one of the congressmen in New Jersey, I should say, Jeff Van Drew, who is suggesting, according to his sources in the Congress, that this could be launched from an Iranian mothership offshore.
From very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly. Now, we know there was a probability it could have been our own government. We know it's not our own government because they would have let us know. It could have been some really glorified hobbyist or hobbyists that were doing something unbelievable. They don't have the technology. But let's pretend that's possible. The third possibility was somebody, an adversarial country, doing this.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
I'm not sure how to react to this, in all honesty, Producer Jack, because I'm not sure what the benefit of allowing Iranian drones to operate in American airspace would be for the Biden administration, unless they are so evil that they would allow a foreign adversary to interfere with the safety of the American people to frustrate the incoming President Trump. I'm not sure. The alternative theory, of course, is that it could be drones from the American military itself. And of course, I reject the theory offered by the congressman there. Oh, if it was from the American military, they would have told us, ha! How many times have we had to dig things out of classified information years after the fact and find out some nasty stuff that the government has been involved in? So no, I don't think that they would be transparent. But again, is it from a foreign adversary? It's the problem with the incompetency of the Biden administration is that it's entirely plausible. It actually is. Let's not forget when they allowed the Chinese spy balloon, multiple Chinese spy balloons, to crisscross around the country and spy on us, gathering who knows what information. And are they doing it again with Iranian drones? That remains to be seen. But of course, the Pentagon maintains that it's absolutely not a foreign adversary, which makes me think it entirely might be.
At this time, we have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity or the work of an adversary. We're going to continue to monitor what is happening, but, at no point were our installations threatened when this activity was occurring.
Can you rule out that these are American drones or U.S. military drones?
These are not U.S. military drones. Again, this is being investigated by local law enforcement. What our initial assessment here is that these are not drones or activities coming from a foreign entity or adversary.
That's garbage. And I mean that sincerely.
Here's one piece of information that lends credence to the theory that it could come from an Iranian mothership, because one was spotted by Maxar Technologies satellite imagery, which showed it leaving the port in Iran. And this is a retrofitted cargo ship that now acts as a platform to launch drones. And it was spotted, where was it? Leaving the coast. Where was it? It was spotted. Anyway, it was spotted leaving Iran. Oh, off the Persian Gulf. There we go. So possibly headed to waters in international territory off the coast of the United States. Who knows? But the government is not being transparent, and it's insulting how ridiculous they are and how dismissive they are of your intelligence. Here's Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, who maintains that somehow the United States government doesn't have the authority to maintain its own airspace security. This is a bizarre claim.
It's not as though anyone can just take down a drone in the sky. That in and of itself would be dangerous.
Do you have the authority to shoot down drones?
Our authorities are very limited. That is precisely why we have gone to Congress to expand those authorities. Our authorities are limited by the United States Coast Guard in the maritime environment, the United States Secret Service in its protection of our national leaders, the U.S. Customs and Border Protection with respect to the border. We have various authorities that are discrete to the particular missions. We can't just shoot a drone out of the sky.
But do you know for sure these are drones or unmanned aircraft? What are they?
We believe that there are cases of mistaken identity where drones are actually small aircraft and people are misidentifying them. There very well may be drones in the sky, of course, but those are commercially available. One can go into a convenience store and buy a small drone. There are also commercial drones as well.
Shite. Oh, yes. That's shite.
So you have the Coast Guard that says that these things have a wingspan of up to 8 feet, and then Alejandro Mayorkas is saying, oh, that's being mistaken for small aircraft or commercial recreational drones.
No, I haven't seen like an 8 feet winged drone before.
Yeah, not one for sale that you can get at the Best Buy.
Yeah, no.
So Alejandro Mayorkas is being ridiculous, and the fact that he actually said with a straight face that the United States lacks the authority to enforce its own airspace is patently absurd. So they're hiding something. What remains to be seen? And we'll find out here on 93 WIBC. So stay tuned as the story develops. However, coming up next, we have a small reprieve from the stressors that we experience from the day to day. Producer Allison is going to tell us about a phenomenal birthday adventure she had in the faraway lands of Peru. Stay tuned for that up next.
Lovebirds, you're in for a treat. With your holiday proposal just around the corner, Shane Company is here to help you create your dream engagement ring. This is your moment. Let's make it magical. Through 4 generations as a family business, we've helped tons of couples find a beautiful engagement ring for a price that works with their budget. We've always sourced diamonds directly, cut out the middleman, and passed the savings on to you. At Shane Company, we have the widest selection of ring settings and center stones, in stock and ready to compare side by side. It's so easy. Choose a look that brings your vision to life. From classic styles to modern designs, we have them all. Then pick out a natural or lab-grown diamond, a sapphire in your favorite color, or a vibrant gemstone like ruby or amethyst. With our everyday competitive prices and free lifetime warranty, your forever after is safe with us. Visit shaneco.com and come see us in store. We've got your dream ring and fine jewelry gifts for everyone on your list. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
If we are truly the racing capital of the world, we want our audience to be more reflective of the world around us. And Radio One has been a great partner in helping us do that.
How can a partnership with WIBC serve your business?
I'm Michael Kaltenmark, Senior Director of Marketing for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and proud partner and client of Radio One.
Diversity.
Radio One's diverse reach not only allows us to get our message in front of a diverse audience, but then also gets those folks interested as we look to invite more diverse audiences to the track to join us, to let them know that the Speedway is open to them and that they're welcome there. And they've been a strategic partner in helping us achieve that goal.
Deliver your message to the audience that matters.
We've been able to attract an even larger audience and fill the Speedway with more people because of our partnership with Radio One.
Text business to 71007 to take your advertising to the next level.
Radio One's right there with us in the trenches.
Get results with WIBC.
It's your last chance to snag Dell Technologies' lowest prices of the year before the holidays. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. This is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
One of the real advantages that we have here at Hendricks is the scope of the services that we have to offer in orthopedics.
Whether they have a hip fracture or they're a high-functioning athlete, we're all working towards the same thing.
To have them be able to have an elective surgery safely and then go home also in a safe fashion is of utmost importance.
We very much want everyone to get back to doing everything that they were doing beforehand. We're really invested in it.
Unstoppable orthopedic care. Learn more at hendricks.org/ortho.
We need each other because every someone needs someone else.
We need each other because when we work together, we can do so much more.
We connect more children with what they need to grow up healthy, educated, and safe. And that's what Child Fund is all about.
Because when you make someone's world better, you make everyone's world better.
Child Fund, because we need each other.
Learn more at childfund.org. That's childfund.org.
Express the heartwarming message that says love is about being together. Let a Pierce Jewelers diamond engagement ring be the symbol that says, I love you. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers. Indy Humane. Find your new best friend today. Visit indyhumane.org.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the show. I'm your Bohemian Codger, Ethan Hatcher. Find my podcasts uploaded to WIBC.com and SaturdayNightOnTheCircle.fireside.fm. That's my personal podcasting page. And we're always streaming live on the YouTube machine, 7 to 9 every Saturday night, so be sure to hop in the chat. Indiana Jones has long been the heroic embodiment of adventure, whether delving through tombs, questing for artifacts, or trading fisticuffs with rogues around the world. These iconic depictions of adventure fuel a thirst for globe-trotting travel and exploration in the hearts of dreamers across society. This week, we're talking to WIBC's own Indiana Jones-esque adventurous spirit and producer to the renowned Hammer and Nigel show, the traveler to antique lands herself, Allison Lemons, joins us on the show. You had an amazing birthday, Allison.
Oh my gosh, I did. What a great intro. I need you to intro everything for me now. I feel so important. Yeah. I went to Peru. I went to Machu Picchu specifically just a couple weeks ago. I can't believe it.
What an incredible journey. And you said you have some photos here to share with me.
And those are all videos you can scroll through my phone as we're talking, because it's truly one of those things where you can't just describe it, or even those videos truly aren't going to do it justice.
No,
but
it's something that you have to experience in person.
Yeah.
So one of the first questions I have is, how the hell did you get up there? Because that's in the mountains. So did they make you truck it on foot? Because that's how the Incans did it.
Right.
They would have had to do it on foot. So did they make you walk up the mountain, or is there some is there an elevator? Did they install an elevator?
No elevator, but thank goodness I didn't have to do the full hike. So there's two ways you can go to Machu Picchu. One is actually you can hike the original Inca Trail.
Wow.
They have tour groups now where it takes them about 4 days to hike up there, and they have
4 days.
Yeah, they have camps set up throughout the mountains. So you'll go to each night, you'll camp out, and then they'll have a dinner for you, and then you keep going. So it takes 4 days, but I think it's like 20 miles up elevation, all that stuff. I did not do that. I did the more, shall I say, American approach. We took a train into the main town right outside of Machu Picchu.
Okay.
It was about an hour and a half train ride, and it was beautiful. We followed the river, kind of going up towards the mountain. And
I see the clouds piercing through the the foggy
alone was
landscape.
like a movie set.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then the morning of, we took a bus, and that was about 20 minutes up the hill. And it's very wound tightly, and only buses are allowed to go up there. And so once we got up there, you actually have to have a passport with you, and they check your passport, and you have a timed entrance. So they only allow, I believe, it's only about 2,000 people a day. Now. Only.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a phenomenal feat to manage that.
Yeah, and the reason they have that is because they don't want they have to basically start managing how much weight is on the Machu Picchu and walking and stuff, because it's it is sinking and stuff like that. So we had a timestamp for really early in the morning, and if you do ever do this, I highly recommend doing it first thing in the morning. When we got there, it was a little rainy. November's their beginning of spring. So it was a little rainy in the morning, a little foggy, but it kind of set the mood a little bit, because as the day kind of cleared on and we were going a little higher up in the mountains, the fog was starting to clear, and then all of a sudden it's like you could finally see it at the end. So it was kind of the perfect weather day.
How big is this place when you get there? So 2,000 people, how are they spread across the ruins?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I thought Machu Picchu, truly you just walked up one hill and then you could just pier out, like kind of like a viewpoint or something, or a lookout. But it's actually, you can walk through the ruins themselves, and it's so massive. The Incas, I guess, built it originally for their king, and it was basically going to be, in so many words, his summer vacation home. Yeah, if you will. And they had, I believe it took them 80 years to build this thing. And I believe they actually had about a couple thousand Incas a day working on this. And it's incredible. It was never actually completely finished. So it's kind of mind-blowing to think how it would look if it was finished. But
I mean, it's impressive to think that they were able to do it in 80 years without the aid of modern equipment. They were doing that all by hand.
1400s. In the 1400s, and it's absolutely wild, the precision they have on some of these stones, because they did cut the stones themselves. They laid them out. They used, I mean, obviously just dirt and clay and what they had. And then the most amazing thing to me, which I think you'll probably seen one of the videos I have here, but the irrigation system.
Yeah.
They have over like 30 irrigation systems, and they still work to this day. And they come from the mountains and the glaciers, and they, essentially, if you don't know irrigation, it kind of brings the water to where they need it to, as far as for gardening or if they need some drinking water. But they created all of these vessels for water movement, and it's still running today. And it's incredible. I truly didn't know much about it, to be honest, to begin with, but just being there, like I had so much appreciation for it. I still can't believe it's actually still standing and it's still working. And then, like you said,
Yeah.
I don't think people today could do that. If you threw us in the middle of the woods, there's no way we could make that.
How much did they talk about the masonry? Because, like, as an appreciator of architecture, and I work with buildings myself, the fact that they were able to hew those stones and then fit them together without the use of mortar, how much did they talk about, like, the precision fitting of it? Because they have the Incas have such a unique masonry style.
Yeah,
I would love to see it in person.
And I guess they can't replicate it exactly because the workers and the farmers didn't tell anybody how they did it. It was kind of a secret.
They didn't write it down.
Right, exactly. No one wrote it down either. But yeah, my dad's really into that as well. He's into construction and architect as well. So I wish I could answer as eloquently as him. But it's truly amazing how the precision and how big these stones are. And again, they're bringing these stones and these tons of mountains of boulders to the top of this mountain, so they have to roll it up themselves. They've built a ramp system to get them all the way to the top. So just taking a stone to the top, let alone then like cutting it and making it sit evenly, everything was too square. There is only one section that we did see that was, I guess, quote unquote, messed up a little bit. And in terms of that, I mean, it's moved a little bit over time. But you could tell like they blocked that section off like the Incas did because it's kind of by itself in an area. So I wonder if like the guy who messed up, they were like, you're out. Yeah, you're going back to pushing the stones.
I feel sorry for the llamas because I imagine they had to do a lot of the labor getting the stones up there.
Apparently they can only carry 60 pounds. So alpacas weren't as
like
helpful.
herds of llamas. They got to tie them together.
They weren't as helpful as I think they probably hoped. But yeah, it's amazing the engineering they have. They one thing that really impressed me, which is why it's still standing, the way they build the doorways is in a I guess a trapezoid.
So the doorways are still there.
The doorways are still there. And they figured out if you make it in that shape with earthquakes, it won't break it down. Like the stones won't break down.
That is wild.
And so all these earthquakes have happened obviously over time, especially in South America, and they're still standing completely fine. And it had me thinking too, like why don't we adapt those theories to, buildings in like California? There's so much you could learn just from looking back at all of this
from
building.
Looking at like
truly history, which is cliche, but it's true.
Well, right. Well, but it's engineering that was based off of what the materials that they had available, and it's using the resources to their fullest extent.
Yeah.
So, like, we could learn more from harvesting that. I agree.
Yeah.
What was some of the other elements of Peru like? What was the weather like? How was the food? What was the culture like?
So
did you get to go to any markets?
I did. So we flew into Lima, which is the main city, and it's actually, I learned this, the second biggest desert city in the world.
What's the first?
That's a great question.
Oh, they didn't tell you.
No, they weren't too proud of that.
Somewhere in Egypt, probably.
Yeah, that's what I assume is Egypt. But it doesn't feel like it's in a desert. But it never rains there. But it was springtime. So Lima, we did the city over there. Then we flew to Cusco, which is about half an hour or so away from where we would take the train ride to Machu Picchu. And Cusco is about 12,000 feet elevated. So you have to get used to the elevation and the altitude and stuff like that. So that, I will say, was a little hard when you go there.
Really?
So I was
it like hard to breathe?
Yeah. So if you go to like Colorado Breckenridge, for instance, or Denver. You can notice like it's a little harder to breathe. You get a little dizzy sometimes. Sometimes you get a little like nauseous. Luckily, I was okay. I had a little bit of a headache. You could feel the pressure, but I definitely suggest going a few days before you actually hike Machu Picchu. That way you get accumulated to the elevation.
Yeah.
But the food was great.
I'm looking at some of your food pictures right now. That looks so good.
A lot of potatoes, a lot of corn, and a lot of everybody is very uses a lot of fresh things. Like 70% of the country is self-employed, so they sell their own food, their own market stuff. Markets were really cool. One thing that's very popular there, I will warn people, is something called chewy chewy, and
what is that?
That is guinea pig.
Oh.
So guinea pig is their version of basically our cow or our chicken.
Did you try some?
So a local did bring us some, and you can't say no to a local when they're very excited to share their culture. So
okay, like when you bring out a steak, it doesn't look anything like a cow, but a guinea pig is a much smaller creature. So are they bringing this out whole? Is it breaded?
I will say they did bring it out like a roasted pig. They even put a little hat on it for us.
Oh no!
But so I had them take it in the back.
Oh, they gave them a hat.
They cut it up neatly for us, and I'm so sorry because I had one in 3rd grade. I understand everybody; it's horrifying.
Well, I'm not. Yeah, when they gave it the hat, that's mean.
Yeah,
like you're starting to personify it. Is it like taking a chunk out of your side? I'm sorry, guy.
Oh, here we go. But anyway, so guinea pig is a big deal there. It's like a holy meal essentially. It's very common there. We went to a lot of local.
How did it taste?
I will say, kind of like dark meat chicken.
Oh, so not bad.
Not great, but not bad.
How did they season it? Was it just plain?
Gamey. Yeah, I think it was pretty plain. I mean, if it was seasoned with like salt and pepper. But
I'll bet if it tasted like dark meat chicken, I'll bet if you put it in a little bit of seasoning, that would greatly improve the flavor.
I just couldn't get over the fact that it was a guinea pig. But anyway, I'm so sorry anyone hearing that's screaming about that. But yeah, I mean, when in Rome, right?
Right.
When in Peru. So it was a lot of fun. I will say to the locals, everyone was so thrilled to see us, and we visited a lot of villages who like to host us for dinners. And tourism, it's a huge thing for Peru. It's a huge part of their economy, and I think they're still kind of recovering over COVID. And so a lot of them were just thanking us for choosing their country, and they were just so excited to show us anything and everything we wanted to know about their culture. And it was really sweet. It was very welcoming community.
We're running a little long in the tooth on this segment, but before we go, besides Machu Picchu, because I mean, we could talk for hours.
I know,
honestly. I want to hear more about this trip when we get off the air. But besides Machu Picchu, which obviously is like a lifetime highlight for anybody, what were your other favorite elements from the trip? Like, did you see any museums?
Mm-hmm.
What food, music? Like, what was the highlight for you?
Lots of music and dancing everywhere we went. A highlight for me, we went to an alpaca farm.
Oh, how
fun. It was a co-op, so it was a giant group of women who take the fur from the alpacas and they make sweaters and hats and things for the community. And so I bought a whole bunch of their stuff. They make it all from scratch. They do the loom. They teach girls at age 2 to start making it. So it was really sweet to see.
Do you have an alpaca sweater?
I did buy one.
Great.
I did buy an alpaca sweater and a blanket and the gloves to match.
You got to show me. What does it feel like? Is it soft?
It's super soft. And they showed us how to tell if it's real or not, because in the markets they'll try to fool you and say it's baby alpaca.
Okay, so you got to tell us. What's the trick? How do you tell if you have a real alpaca?
Oh, you can tell the moment you feel it. You can feel how baby soft it is. And if it's not baby alpaca, they call it maybe alpaca.
Well, thanks for telling us about your adventures, producer Allison. I really appreciate that.
Rambling on, I appreciate it.
And thank you for. I mean, hey, it's a lifestyle segment. We're coming to a close in the year, and I mean, I think anybody would envy the amazing trip that you had for your 30th birthday. So getting to share that with the audience, I thought was a worthwhile endeavor.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I was really blessed to go. So glad to be here.
And thank you for listening to 93 WIBC Saturday night on The Circle. Stay tuned for more.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out.
I've tried just about everything for my ED. Big name brands, awkward appointments, the whole deal. Nothing felt right for my lifestyle until I found Hardee's from Zelty. Pre-planning, waiting an hour, it took all the fun out of dating. But Hardee's changed everything. These dissolve fast, working in as little as 15 minutes and last up to 36 hours. Plus, they cost up to 90% less than big name brands with the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis to keep me going strong. No appointments, no hassle, and completely discreet. That's right, Zelty is 100% online with fast, free shipping, plus powerful results that cost around 90% less. For a single guy like me, Hardy's made dating fun again. Text TERM to 200-300 to see if you qualify for fast-acting, long-lasting ED medication. Get your free medical review now. Text the word TERM to 200-300. That's TERM to 200-300. Don't wait. Text now. Hardy's from Zelty. TERM to 200-300. TERM to 200-300.
Hey, Dad?
Yeah, bud?
I'm too afraid to tell him what I saw, what I sent, what I downloaded.
You can't help what you don't know. Tell the teens in your life they can talk to you about what's happening online.
Hey, you can tell me anything, right?
Yeah, I know. We need to talk.
Learn more about online safety at InternetCrimesAgainstKids.com. A message from the Indiana Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, sponsored by the Indiana State Police.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
You let him try violin because you love him. And if you love him that much, love him enough to make sure he's buckled up and in the back seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Through their service, veterans have our backs. Now we should have theirs. Learn more at gotyoursix.org.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Pierce Jewelers, Carmel's Get Your Sparkle On jewelry store.
Fox News, I'm Daria Albinger. The feds say they are investigating the massive number of reports of drones over the East Coast.
FBI and DHS briefed the media to say there are confirmed drone sightings over military bases here in New Jersey, but at this point, there's no indication these drones are linked to any criminal activity or foreign actor.
That's Fox's C.B. Cotton. The man accused of murdering United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson is still in Pennsylvania, but that could change soon. Fox's Chanley Painter.
According to the Manhattan DA, Luigi Mangione could be back in a Pennsylvania courtroom as soon as Tuesday, where we will learn if the accused killer is changing his mind about fighting his extradition to New York.
America is listening to Fox News.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here, letting you know that when you need plumbing help, call who I call, my friends at Hope Plumbing. They're locally owned and committed to putting the customer and the community first. They know spending your hard-earned money on unexpected plumbing issues isn't at the top of your wish list. So for the rest of the year, they're giving you $100 off any $500 plus plumbing service. Call Hope Plumbing today at 317-641-HOPE or online at hopeplumbing.com.
Don't miss the holiday concert experience of the season. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Lost Christmas Eve. December 19th, Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Reserve seats on sale now at Ticketmaster. An awe-inspiring blend of rock, classical, and holiday music for the entire family. Don't miss Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert.
Tune in to the Absolute Retirement Planning Show.
When retirement comes about, we're now relying on what we have saved to meet those needs.
Sundays at 9 a.m. right here on 93 WIBC.
Do you need furnace or heat pump service and want to work with a local independent dealer you can trust, like B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical? Find that American Standard Air dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Find the path to recovery that works for you. Learn more at cdc.gov/stopoverdose.
Is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
It's time to put on your hazmat suit as we dredge through the slime of modern media. This week, Nancy Pelosi and Katie Couric were victims of the outrage mob that they helped to perpetuate. Also, after a 4-year hiatus, the professional protesters of Black Lives Matter crawled from the sewer to march against the Daniel Penny verdict of New York. And finally, after 18 years, an incredible injustice has been put to rest. Hear it all for this edition of The Sound Dump.
I'll take you for a ride. I'm a garbage truck.
It's the Saturday Night Sound Dump on 93 WIBC.
I take you to the dump. I show you the sights, you know you wanna ride. I'm a garbage truck.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on The Circle. I'm your bespectacled curmudgeon, Ethan Hatcher. That's producer Jack, beep, 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 pushing the buttons and doing the things to make the show function. This week, I wanted to start with Nancy Pelosi and Katie Couric. They were at a conference in New York City when they were heckled for like 10 minutes straight. This is a 2-minute video that I whittled down to about 60 seconds of concentrated nonsense. These were protesters who were objecting to Nancy Pelosi's very tepid support of Israel's sovereignty and standing with the hostages who are being captured by Hamas. And, you know, still, that's not good enough for the leftists. They wanted to express their outrage, and they disrupted the event.
So you... Don't worry about that. I'm from San Francisco. I'm used to this.
What a bunch of children.
We have an opportunity for the audience to ask questions, so we'll wait till the end of our conversation to do that.
See, they'll get what they want because all the press will say is that we got interrupted.
All right, so you never know what to expect at the 92nd Street Y.
No, I couldn't.
I'll wait a second to continue.
I'm on my land. We're both in America, which used to be a good country, until they started letting people like you do whatever you want.
Hey, like the good book says, you reap what you sow. And indeed, they have sowed the seeds of discontent with this perpetual outrage mob that is never satisfied, that demands utter capitulation. And now they're suffering the consequence of it. And I couldn't be more entertained. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, you should spank your kids, because I guarantee you those adult children never received proper discipline. Here was another headline from this week that was a surprise and outrage to many. Another example of Joe Biden attempting to thwart President Trump before he has been inaugurated. He is desperately trying to sell off the remaining portions of Trump's border wall, to the extent that they are selling these for as little as $5 a section. They are taking it in the teeth in order to thwart the incoming president.
So to add insult to injury, by one account, one company was able to purchase $4.4 million worth of steel tubes for just $156,000. Do you think, ma'am, that's a good deal for the taxpayers?
Senator, you have my commitment for any resources that fall under my portfolio.
Forget about your portfolio. What's in your portfolio? We've established that you don't take responsibility.
Ooh.
I'm asking you, is that a good deal for taxpayers?
No.
There we go.
Holy Jesus! What is that? What the is that?
Okay, so she said it. At least she was willing to admit that selling millions of dollars of steel for pennies on the dollar is a terrible deal for taxpayers, but it's not about getting money or resources. It's specifically about divesting resources because they want to thwart Donald Trump, which is absolutely despicable, but that shows the lengths to which Democrats will go. However, there may be a savior willing to step forward, and that's Lieutenant Governor of Texas, Dan Patrick, who says that if nothing else, he'll buy the border wall personally, I suppose, and then donate it to Donald Trump to re-erect.
Joe Biden is now hauling off the border wall that's been lying down for years, and he wants to auction it off starting at $5 a piece. Message to the White House right now. I will bid on all of that wall, and we will buy it in Texas, and we will give it to Donald Trump. So I'm going to find out first thing in the morning where are we going to take the bid. I've got $1 billion in my pocket to do it. I write the budget with Senator Joan Huffman. We have the money. We're going to have about $6 billion in our budget for border security.
Dan, don't drive up the cost. Don't drive up the cost. The first bid is only $5 $5 a piece of the wall. But
I will go in and buy it all.
So if Dan's got $1 billion to throw around, I mean, that's going to buy a heck of a lot of border wall for $5 a section, especially if they're selling millions of dollars of steel for $100,000. Like, it's going to be a good deal for Dan Patrick. So I hope he does it. And I hope, obviously, that we return to sensible border enforcement once President Trump is inaugurated, which it seems like we will. And even Democrats like Eric Adams are coming around. Of course, he finds himself under investigation for other campaign violations, but he is now speaking against the illegal immigration and specifically pointing a finger at the hundreds of thousands of children that are now lost in the United States, potentially being victimized because of the runaway immigration problem that Joe Biden has allowed to fester.
We have 500,000 children who had sponsors in this country that we can't find. We can't find them. We don't know if they're doing child labor. We don't know if they're doing sex crimes. We don't know if they're being exploited. 500,000 children. There's a level of hypocrisy that everyone that states they want to protect everyone, but innocent individuals who are victims of crimes and children. I want to support and protect children and innocent people that are victims of crime. And those who don't understand that, it's not up to me to try to convince them. I know what my job is, my goal is, and I was clear of that while running and when I became mayor. Safety means everything to me. 500,000 children, we don't know where they are right now in this country.
Dear God. There's more. No.
So that's the unintended consequences of Joe Biden's out-of-control immigration. Ultimately, it victimizes children, the weakest in society, the most vulnerable in society, that deserve the highest level of protection, and they're getting none when you allow them to be trafficked by coyotes across an open border, obviously. And now 500,000 are lost in the United States, potentially being victimized, and that's very, very sad. Fortunately, a great wrong has been rectified 18 years after the fact, which is far too late. But finally, Crystal Magnum has finally admitted in her accusation against the Duke lacrosse team, she lied.
And I testified falsely against them by saying that they raped me when they didn't. And that was wrong. And I betrayed the trust of a lot of other people who believed in me. And made up a story that wasn't true because I wanted validation from people and not from God. And I hope that they can forgive me.
Oh, that was horrible. You're horrible. You're an irredeemable monster.
Oh, what took you so long, idiot?
Now, this accusation disrupted the lives of these young men for years, and that can't be resolved. Fortunately, the truth has finally come to light, the truth that many knew, but here we find ourselves 8 years after the Me Too movement began in earnest in 2016, and it's already collapsed in a number of ways, but that campaign they ran on Believe All Women, sometimes they lie, which, surprise, turns out they are capable of deception like any human. So, yes, anyway, obviously, it's good that finally the truth has come to light. But unfortunately, she can't be accused or convicted of perjury because statute of limitations is 2 years, and this is 18 years later. So it is what it is. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on the Circle. Stay tuned. Final segment for hour one coming up next.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and with the holidays so close, why not have Zero-Res clean your carpets now before family and friends come over? You know, I asked my wife why women don't want to get their carpets cleaned. She said they absolutely do want to get their carpets clean, but they just don't want to have to move furniture, worry about people they don't know coming into the house, worry about the chemicals people are using, and waiting around for things to dry. I get it, but that's not Zero-Res, and with their Gotta Love It guarantee, they're going to make sure it's a great experience that you'll never, ever regret. There is nobody better at cleaning than Zero-Res. Right now, get 3 rooms Zero-Resified starting at just $129 and $75 off air duct cleaning too. That's a $40 savings on carpet cleaning. The Zero-Res service is easy to line up, and you can go online at ZeroResIndy.com to do the scheduling at your convenience. Just call them and mention WIBC. It's Zero-Res. Call 317-388-5141 or book things online at ZeroResIndy.com. That's ZeroResIndy.com.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on SingleCare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to SingleCare.com or download the free app today.
It's the holiday season, time to celebrate the moment, and that means a trip to Barrington Jewels and Clearwater Crossing. Give the perfect gift this year with new designs, breathtaking diamonds and gemstones, emeralds, rubies, sapphires, and more. Plus, you'll find all the top watch brands like Oris, Tutama, Young Hans, and Citizens, in addition to a wide variety of pre-owned options. And right now, for every $1,000 you spend, you'll receive a $100 gift card. Don't wait, get to Barrington Jewels today. And remember, you haven't seen a diamond until you've seen a Barrington diamond.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac automatic standby generator for your home from Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter. Call 317-827-0808. Generator Supercenter of Indianapolis, 317-827-0808.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com. You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. This week I stumbled across a video from broadcaster John Stossel, formerly from 2020, I believe. Great broadcaster, libertarian leanings. And this week he produced a piece explaining why recycling may be a scam. And this was a surprise to me.
All my life, I've heard about how important it is to recycle.
It's not.
Science writer John Tierney debunked recycling claims years ago. His New York Times Magazine story, Recycling is Garbage, set a record for Times hate mail. And yet, what you said is still true?
It's even more true today. In fact, the economics have just gotten worse.
Now, my city would save more than $300 million a year if it just stopped recycling.
Recycling is an industry that's using increasingly expensive labor to produce materials that are worth less and less.
Because it's not worth recycling here, much is shipped overseas to countries like Malaysia, where it's just piled up.
A vast field of plastic 2 stories high.
Some of it from America.
See if we can look on the back here. Marysville, Ohio. Look, Walmart bag.
They just dump here and then they burn it.
That pollutes even more. And what they don't burn, they sometimes dump in the ocean.
1 garbage truck of plastic is dumped in the sea every minute.
Barely any of that plastic comes from American shores. So,
if you care about saving Flipper, you should put your plastic bottle in the garbage.
It's mostly plastic. because plastic is the hardest to recycle. Put your glass in the recycling bin, put your aluminum and paper in the recycling bin, cardboard, but a lot of your plastics, it's better off in the landfill. Stay tuned to 93 WIBC. Hour 2 coming up. Jam-packed content. Don't miss it.
Getting close to crunch time, and all 4 locally owned Cynthia's Hallmark locations and staff are ready to help. For nearly 40 years, they've been the gift go-to store with jewelry and candy, toys, games, holiday decor, and hostess gifts, cozy spa items and blankets, Yeti, Vera Bradley, Wind and Willow, Mud Pie, and holiday apparel. So much to choose from, and shopping at Cynthia's is an experience. Cynthia's Hallmark in Greenfield, for as long as I can remember, features the D56 light-up village room. All ages find it such a cool experience to walk through and see the amazing display. From the traditional Dickens in North Pole Village to the Christmas Vacation in Grinch Village, it's quite a fantastic sight. The kids will love the toy cabin and taking a walk over the covered bridge. After dark, the decorated windows are so cool. Take a trip to the world's largest Hallmark store, Cynthia's Hallmark in Greenfield, and support local this holiday season. 3 other stores too, 96th and Lantern Road, 116th and Allisonville Road, and 116th and Brook School Road in Fishers.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. GI Bill, SkillBridge, and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start saving with SingleCare. It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com, show the coupon at the pharmacy, and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
The holidays are a magical time to get engaged. At Shane Company, we're here to help you create your dream engagement ring in just 3 easy steps. Choose a setting that speaks to your style. Compare diamonds and colorful gemstones in all shapes and sizes. Then personalize it with a decorative crown and special engraving. Or choose a perfectly preset ring that's ready to go. At Shane Company, you'll find everyday competitive prices, a no-pressure environment, and an unmatched free lifetime warranty. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Can you hear me? So can your customers. Get your message heard. Text business to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
Prepare to deal with difficult people and situations at Sandler Training's 90-minute online seminar Tuesday, 2:30. Proceeds to Salvation Army. 317-678-8800.
No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. Learn more at helpnokidhungry.org.
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is Indy's Mobile News. 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. The news starts now.
More drone sightings and more questions. I'm Daria Albinger, Fox News. We've been hearing from lawmakers and residents alike about those mysterious drones over a number of states. And that includes over one of the most sensitive national security facilities in the country.
Multiple media reports are saying there have been drone sightings over Quantico in Virginia. That's home to the FBI Academy and the headquarters for investigative services for several service branches. InsideNova.com says drone sightings also reported over Naval Support Facility Dahlgren, located in nearby King George County, which is known for the development of long-range ballistics weapons. Just a few weeks ago, the Pentagon confirmed several unauthorized drone sightings in 2023 at Langley Air Force Base and Naval Station Norfolk, also in Virginia. The White House has been saying there's no known threat from drones. Jill Nato, Fox News.
The suspect in the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson could be back in New York City very soon.
Investigators say Luigi Mangione could be back in New York City next week. That's if he agrees and signs the paperwork. This comes as we're learning that Mangione had been reported missing in California. His mom called the San Francisco police last month, saying she had not talked to her son since July. Investigators tell me Luigi was never a client of United Healthcare, which is important to point out because police say he specifically targeted the company's CEO. So the question is, what was the motive? It might have to do with X-ray that police say he posted online, telling people that he recently had back surgery. But people I talked to in Hawaii say he didn't seem to be like he was in much pain.
That's Fox's Alexis McAdams. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi recovering from hip replacement surgery after taking a fall in Luxembourg. America is listening to Fox News.
From the Fox News Podcasts Network, the Fox News Rundown, a contrast of perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. Your daily dose of news twice a day, going far beyond the headlines, tapping into the massive reporting resources of Fox News to provide a full picture of the news of the day.
I'm Dana Perino.
I'm Brett Baer.
I'm Maria Bartiromo.
I'm Brian Kilmeade, and this is the Fox News Rundown.
Subscribe and listen now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts. From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
Hey, this is Trey Gowdy, host of the Trey Gowdy Podcast. Every Tuesday, you'll hear what's on my mind. Plus, every Thursday, there's a special bonus episode where we answer the questions that are on your mind. Make sure to spend your Tuesdays and Thursdays with Trey. Subscribe now at foxnewspodcast.com or wherever you download podcasts. Hope to see you.
America's listening to Fox News.
With a new series.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Body cam footage released. I'm Sasha Nixon. Here's what's trending this hour. IMPD released body cam footage of an officer-involved shooting from last October. Harrison Silcox reports.
What started as a theft investigation turned into a police shooting that body cameras picked up the 27th of October. Officers were looking into a reported theft along North Keeling Avenue when a black Chevy pulled up. Inside was a woman who said another man was holding her at gunpoint.
Put your hands up! Put your hands up!
That woman told officers afterwards she had already driven past before Julius Hill had jumped in the car and threatened her. That's when she pulled back around to get the cops' attention. Hill died in the hospital a few weeks after the shooting. No other injuries were reported. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
State police are investigating after an inmate at a Tippecanoe County Community Corrections Facility died. Staff members apparently found the unresponsive inmate, who has not yet been publicly identified, around 9:30 p.m. Thursday. He or she was taken to the hospital but did not survive. At this time, officers believe that individual may have had a medical emergency. But speaking of state police, a museum in Washington, D.C. has one of their police cars on display. The National Law Enforcement Museum account recently tweeted an image of a state police cruiser and said, when Dodge unveiled the 1956 Dodge Coronet as its first police package vehicle, the Indiana State Police were among their first customers. Get tickets and learn more about the museum at nleomf.org. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Now here's the forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center.
Tonight, soaking rain is expected, low temperatures near 40 degrees. Tomorrow morning, scattered showers will be around. Cloudy skies will linger through the afternoon. High temperatures in the upper 40s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Absolute Comfort. Chris Wedekin is the owner, and he tells us why many homeowners are giving up their air conditioners for a high-efficiency heat pump.
By removing your air conditioner and replacing it with a heat pump, you are not only saving by getting a higher efficiency air conditioner, the heat pump works in reverse and saves you money in the wintertime as well.
See if a heat pump is the right move for you by going to AbsoluteComfort.org. Absolute Comfort is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Joyner Homes. They've built hundreds of homes across central Indiana and has a streamlined, fully custom home build process with an in-house team of architectural and design specialists. So you can focus on the fun stuff like cabinets and flooring and paint colors. They truly build unique, character-rich, smart design homes anywhere that you can bring a builder or on your own private lot. Check out their pricing online at joinerhomes.com. That's where you can also see some of the homes they've built. That's joinerhomes.com.
LD Smith Plumbing takes on the worst, the dirty and stinky sewer and drain jobs, and gives you plumbing solutions that work. Online at ldsmithplumbing.com.
The Indianapolis Public Library. More than just books.
Visit your local branch today.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Score one for the good guys. Last week we reported on the Daniel Penny trial where they had dismissed the manslaughter charge, but still at stake was the criminal negligence charge in the assault that resulted in the death of Jordan Neely. And finally, after a short deliberation, the jury found him innocent. They ruled him not guilty, and Daniel Penny, now a free man. He has been invited to a football game to attend with the Vice President of the United States. All is right in the world, and of course, naturally, that has upset the professional protesters of Black Lives Matter. They appeared shortly after the verdict with the father of Jordan Neely to scold America.
Clearly, if we get to this point, it's too late. We have to be there for each other, and that's our call to action. Everybody that's pissed off at this verdict, I challenge you to go outside today and help one person. That's my challenge. If you're angry, if you're hurt, go help one person. That's how we beat the system. That's how we turn this around, by being there for each other.
I just want to say, I miss my son. My son didn't have to go through this. I didn't have to go through this either. It hurts. Really, really hurts. What are we going to do, people? What's going to happen to us now? I had enough of this. The system is rigged. Come on, people. Let's do something about this.
Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
German? Forget it, he's rolling.
So they're not satisfied with the verdict from the jury. They're going to raise the specter of racism, this tired argument once again. And here's a thought. What if instead of, helping strangers to avenge Jordan Neely, what if Jordan Neely had gotten the help that he needed from his parents before this tragedy ever took place? What if he had gotten the mental health care? What if his parents had been able to give him the attention that he needed instead of releasing him on society, where he then threatened strangers threatened their lives? He had been arrested several times previously in connection with assaults. And then Daniel Penny had to intervene. Had they given him the help that he needed before all that, then he may be alive today. So I don't buy these crocodile tears from the father who was letting his son wander the streets and be homeless. It's patently ridiculous. And of course, now after 4 years of retirement, Black Lives Matter has crawled from the sewer, and they were marching in the streets of New York, condemning the correct verdict in the not guilty finding for for Daniel Penny.
What's his name? Jordan Neely! Say his name! Jordan Neely! What's his name? Jordan Neely!
Get in your mouse and get out of here.
Simply put, the racial makeup or of yourself or your attacker should not matter in cases of self-defense. And the fact that they are interjecting this racial component is wholly disingenuous, because Daniel Penny was protecting people of color. That's a modern term. That's the term that the left would like to use. People of color on the subway. They were in danger of assault from Jordan Neely just as much as Daniel Penny and other, white people on the subway were, and he stood up and intervened for them all. And it didn't matter what the racial makeup of the attacker was, and it shouldn't matter what the racial makeup of the defender was. That they've made it into this as a wholly disingenuous argument. And isn't it funny that they've crawled out of the woodwork after 4 years? They disappeared after Joe Biden was elected, and then now here they're coming again just in time for Donald Trump to rabble rouse and stir up trouble. When more often than not, like many of these interactions with police officers now caught on body cam, and at one time body cameras were supposed to be the secret weapon of the left to utilize and show systemic abuse of power by the police, when more often than not it has vindicated officers in their interactions with these potentially violent members of society, and they try to make it into a racial argument when simply it just doesn't exist. And here is another Black Lives Matter leader reacting to the Daniel Penny verdict and condemning America for finding this man rightfully innocent.
They didn't even try. Once the lesser charge was removed, they came back an hour later and said it was deadlock. Less than an hour and 20 minutes later, they said not guilty. These wonderful white people, I hope they celebrate their Christmas while the Neely family is praying and asking God for comfort. Damn them and damn America.
How to talk to a feminist. Let's begin.
So the history of feminism.
Be quiet.
Actually...
Shut up. Shut up.
Oh, okay.
And here's why. Here's a prime example of why, in matters of self-defense, the racial makeup of the victim and the assailant should be irrelevant, is because he was a TikTok exec that was assaulted less than 3 weeks after Daniel Penny's incident on the subway back in 2023. Now Gideon Moncrief is suing the MTA for systemic negligence because Sean Lewis, who had already been banned by the transit, was on a subway, and here Gideon had attempted to intervene in an assault against another passenger. So a very similar situation to Daniel Penny, and for his trouble, he was slashed across the face by Sean Lewis, who again had very similar history to Jordan Neely, multiple run-ins with police, a history of violent crime. And in this case, Gideon Moncrief, or Creef, I should say, he was black. And he had just as much right to defend himself on the subway. Unfortunately, he was the victim of assault in this case. And then now, like I said, he is suing the transit authority for systemic negligence. And when you compound that with the fact that they had to call out the National Guard had to be deployed in the subway, then I say he has a pretty strong argument there. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on The Circle. We, of course, got a lot more on the way. Carl's Conspiracy Corner is up next. Don't miss it.
Once again, you've heard the bell and answered the call for the 30th anniversary WIBC Radiothon for the Salvation Army.
Sam is still counting. We will have an official total.
Presented by Financial Center. You've helped families in need throughout central Indiana.
Made a certainly Merry Christmas for many in our community. We're going with over $500,000 no matter.
Thank you from Financial Center.
Thank you guys so much.
And 93 WIBC.
This Christmas, as you're picking out gifts for loved ones, take a moment to think about the future gift you can give yourself. The gift of a secure retirement. Howard Bailey Financial is here to help you unwrap the possibilities of peace and confidence. With our free retirement toolkit, you'll get practical steps and insights to plan for the years ahead. From saving strategies to planning tips, this toolkit is like a financial compass for your future. And best of all, it's completely free to download. Don't wait until next year to start planning. Text GIFT to 888-262-1104. Download your free retirement toolkit and give yourself the gift of financial confidence this holiday season. That's GIFT to 888-262-1104 to start planning today. Howard Bailey Security, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Hey, it's Rob. If you want to grow your hair back, check out the precision and accuracy of the Artis Robotic FUE at We Grow Hair Indy. You'll be amazed at the permanent natural results you can get and get back to work ASAP. Darren Andrews, Clinic Director of We Grow Hair Indy, is here to tell us more.
The Artis Robotic FUE hair transplant at We Grow Hair Indy, one of the most sophisticated hair transplant procedures available. The accuracy and the precision of the Artis Robotic FUE is what clients love the most. Get the results you want with our Artis FUE or multi-unit hair grafting procedure.
Don't wait. Call today and find out more about the Artis Robotic FUE at WeGrowHairIndy.com. Call 317-522-2995 for your hair evaluation. 317-522-2995 or go to WeGrowHairIndy.com. and grow your hair back today.
Hammer and Nigel here for Window Nation. I was so sick and tired of my old windows during the winter. There was condensation, there were chilly drafts coming from my old windows. Once I got new Window Nation windows installed, that all ended. And now during Window Nation's year-end sale, you can get 50% off all style of windows with a bonus 10% off.
Make 2025 the year you take care of your house. And that starts by calling Window Nation, 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com. Hurry, the sale ends December 31st.
We may be thousands of miles apart, but we can still connect. And when we do, we make things better. At Child Fund, we connect children all around the world with what they need to grow up healthy, educated, and safe. Together, we co-create connections that help millions of children who live in poverty worldwide, and their families, and their communities, and you. Join us. Together, we can make the world a better place. 2 small worlds at a time. Visit childfund.org to learn more.
When I was younger, I may have did some stupid things, even committed some crimes, but I'm not a criminal.
I work for youth advocate programs, I was Tamani's advocate, helping him stay out of jail, stay in the neighborhood, and get a job.
As a little kid, I experienced trauma and I acted out. Made some mistakes, but I'm not a mistake.
As Jalen's YAP advocate, I'm always here for her.
YAP is a community-based alternative to youth incarceration and neighborhood violence. Youth advocate programs. Learn how at yapinc.org.
This Christmas, come see Pierce Jewelers' stunning showcases of spectacular designs and be dazzled by their one-of-a-kind collection of fine jewelry. Shop local, shop smart, shop Pierce Jewelers. Indy Humane. Find your new best friend today. Visit indyhumane.org.
It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
I feel fine.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle. I'm your Bohemian Codger, Ethan Hatcher. The podcasts are uploaded to WIBC.com and SaturdayNightOnTheCircle.fireside.fm, my personal podcasting page. Plus, we're always streaming live on the YouTube machine every Saturday night from 7 to 9, so make sure to hop in the chat while we're doing the show. Since even before the days of Al Gore, Democrats have attempted to use the looming specter of impending global destruction as a ruse to continuously whittle away your freedoms. The often touted Green New Deal by Joe Biden, a prime example in recent times of the climate scam being leveraged to achieve a leftward agenda. Here to denounce the wild speculations of mystical Marxist doomsday soothsayers is the ally of truth and defender of free speech, producer Carl, who joins us for another edition of Carl's Conspiracy Corner.
You're listening to Carl's Conspiracy Corner. The truth is out there.
Have you ever seen a commie drink a glass of water?
Well, yeah, I can't say I have.
The views expressed by Conspiracy Carl are those of Carl and Carl alone. They are not the views of his station or its distributors. I mean, obviously.
So we've returned once again deep below the streets of Indianapolis in the steel-clad, concrete, lead-lined bunker that is safe from the intrusive eyes of the deep state. So tell us, producer Carl, what have we got on the agenda for this week?
Well, as you were mentioning in your introduction, I am going back to the tired old discussion of global warming, which is also known as climate change. And you asked...
That was the rebranding.
Yeah.
I remember that.
The rebranding because it wasn't warming anymore, so they had to call it climate change, which is AKA known as the climate. Climate is always changing. And the listeners know this, so it almost is a case of why are you bringing this up? Well, when you study and you work with the news that I work with every single day, sometimes it's hard to fall asleep because the world is constantly on the verge of coming to an end.
Yeah, so what do? Take some sleeping pills?
Well, no, even better. I listen to C-SPAN radio at night, and by the way...
How
dare you!
That's a swipe at C-SPAN.
Yeah, listeners, if you need to fall asleep, just turn on C-SPAN radio. It's based out of Washington, D.C. Turn it on, and they're going to be talking wonky stuff, and you're going to fall asleep. But anywho, this seems to be a tired old subject. It seems like most people have wisened up to the scam, but yet congressmen on the floor are talking about climate change. It's a topic that never goes away.
Well, right, because they're not attuned with the American people on this issue. And I agree. I don't even think it's a conspiracy at this point. Everybody's aware of the scam because they never go after the climate or the pollution of China or the pollution of India. It's always how can America reduce its industrial size and then, allow the communists to flourish.
Exactly. Well, I'm not going to attack the obvious arguments because most of the listeners do know the obvious arguments. What I rarely hear on the radio or anywhere in the media is how little CO2, because CO2 is the culprit of all of this mess that we call climate change. How little CO2 is actually in our atmosphere. It is like 0.001%. And of that small percentage, man-made CO2 is 0.001. You guys, you gotta look this stuff up. It's there. I'm just not pulling this.
I thought it was 0.4%. I mean, it's still less than 1%. It's less than 0.5% of the atmosphere.
It's infinitesimally small, meaning it's meaningless. It doesn't. CO2 does not affect the climate. That big fiery ball in the sky affects the climate more than mankind.
Or volcanic eruptions.
Exactly.
They don't tell you about the amount of carbon that is belched out by your average volcanic eruption that eclipses the industrial output of the United States.
But it's very frustrating because one of the congressmen on the floor debating this, a Democrat, of course, he was talking about greenhouse pollutants.
Sure.
And this is not pollution, people. CO2 is not pollution. This is what dare you? This is what we exhale. So this congressman is basically saying that we, just by our existence, is pollution. And that's where you can get into the whole globalist notion that we are the useless eaters and we are the problem, and we need to get rid of
the population
of
control.
The population.
Well, they got rid of the Georgia Guidestones, Carl. Those are gone. They blew them up. They're gone.
They got rid of them because of like, hey, we got to start covering up the evidence of what we're up to. But
I love that.
Yeah, but this is so frustrating. CO2 is an infinitesimally small amount in our atmosphere. It is not affecting the climate, and it is not a pollutant. A lot of people think when they hear CO2, they think carbon monoxide, which you definitely don't want to breathe in. But it's not. CO2 is a naturally occurring phenomenon that we exhale.
It's plant food.
It's plant food, and we get oxygen from the plants. This is all good. More CO2 means more plants, more life.
Part of the cycle of nature.
Exactly.
But we do have looming threats that potentially pose a cause for concern to your average American citizens, and that's these crazy, wacky drones that are flying around New Jersey. And I guess you did a segment on the Tony Katz Show about this. This is some crazy stuff. I saw the overnight footage of like a time lapse, and these things are everywhere. They're flying all over the state.
Well, yeah.
What's up? Well, the congressman was saying that it's from an Iranian, Iranian mothership.
Yeah, yeah. After what we've been through the last 20, 25 years, Ethan, do I believe anything that people in our government tell us?
Well, the Pentagon says it's not happening, so which one do you not believe? You got options at this point.
I'm not too sure that the Pentagon isn't behind some of what we're seeing and flying around in the sky.
See, I totally believe that it could be Iran or another state actor. It doesn't have to be Iran because it was the Biden administration that let him fly the Chinese spy drone over the skies for how many weeks?
Sure, but I think that Iran at this moment has far more deep concerns to deal with than having a, quote, mothership off the coast of the East Coast and flying in drones. And also, if they were flying in spy drones, would they have their lights on? I think they would want them to be dark.
You would think.
You would think. So,
well, unless they're trying to send a message. See, that could be part of it. It's psychological warfare as much as it could be information gathering.
I would tend to believe that it is our own government that is working behind the scenes to do a psyop on the people.
Our own government?
Yes. So if I'm looking right now at an article dated November 14th, so not too long ago, where the Department of Defense is examining unidentified anomalous phenomena. So this is a topic that is not only recent, but it's been going on for quite a while, where all of a sudden the government officials in the Pentagon are quite open about potential green monsters in the sky that are watching us.
So, wait, are these intergalactic forces, or is that just the ruse by which they're using to spy on the American people? What's going on here? This is a wild theory. You caught me off guard, producer Carl.
If I were to be a betting man, I would bet that it is our own forces that are doing something behind the scenes, trying to psych people out, trying to get people frightened. What exactly?
Why New Jersey? Why screw with New Jersey in particular?
It's a huge population center.
Okay.
It's a huge population center, but the reason why I'm suspicious of all this is that they have been basically broadcasting out there that this is something they've been watching, that this is happening, and then conveniently, just like conveniently after the election of Trump, all of a sudden Joe okays ATACMS to be fired into Russia. Conveniently, all of a sudden, these UAPs are all over the place. And so this is what we know as Project Bluebeam. Now, have you heard of this?
Is this the Jewish space laser?
No.
Wasn't that supposed to be a blue beam that was lighting people's roofs on fire?
Perhaps we are mixing our conspiracies together. But my understanding, Project Bluebeam is basically the government's attempt to fake an alien invasion of the world, to unite all countries and all mankind under one world government to fight the aliens.
Well, producer Carl, I've already seen this movie. Surely you have too. Zack Snyder's adaptation of the classic comic book, The Watchmen, from Alan Moore. You've never read The Watchmen?
No.
Okay. Well, I guess spoiler alert for those who haven't read the comic that was published in the 1980s. That was the summary. They use a faked alien invasion to unite the world and avert the looming disaster caused by the Cold War.
Yeah. Well, notice that for every
so they stole this plot from Alan
exactly.
Moore. That's cheap.
Yeah. Exactly. So. Notice that always every solution to every perceived problem is just big centralized government. Somehow they, the globalists, are always winning on this. Now, I want to bring up past issues, catastrophes for mankind as a pretext of why I think this is similar. So prior to COVID, there was Event 201. Have you heard about Event 201?
Oh, no. Now we're getting really deep in the weeds. Tell me what's Event 201.
So people, it's up there on YouTube. I haven't checked recently, but YouTube had it up there. Event 201 was a roundtable discussion with all of the leaders in the United States, planning the pandemic.
Oh, the plandemic.
Yes.
Okay.
Planning the pandemic. You had bankers, you had executives from social media. Everybody was in this roundtable, and they were discussing what are we going to do when the pandemic hits. And COVID went down exactly the way they said it would go down in the fall of 2019.
But you got to bring it full circle, Carl. How is this connected to the UAPs?
Circle, they're telling you, Project Bluebeam. People, you need to look this up on DuckDuckGo. Remember, Google's not a good resource because Google tries to hide the truth. But DuckDuckGo has Project Bluebeam there, and they're basically telling you that they are planning a false flag of an alien invasion. Now, I am going to actually take your theory from our first get-together on the Conspiracy Carl Corner, where the theory is that Joe is just basically going to hand Donald Trump a huge mess. There are going to be wars, there's going to be pandemics, and there's going to be alien invasions.
Because Democrats are just that petty.
Exactly.
And if the little green men come, you heard it here first on Conspiracy Carl, a segment for Saturday Night on the Circle.
Well, thank you very much, Ethan. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas, and I hope to see you in the new year.
Thanks for coming on the show, Carl. And thank you for listening to Saturday Night on the Circle. Stay tuned to 93 WIBC.
Days after President Biden's controversial pardon of his son Hunter.
93 WIBC.
The biggest act of clemency in one day for any president ever.
No one is above the law.
Hear the news.
The toppling of Syrian president and dictator Bashar al-Assad.
Another news update is minutes away.
Thieves taking packages.
They utilize a Ring doorbell, notifies you when someone's at the house.
Drug trafficking ring that was disrupted, arrested 2 people, meth, cocaine, and marijuana.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
We don't often talk about grief during the Christmas season, and yet Christmas can bring up memories that evoke pain and heartache because of the loss of a loved one. Hi, this is Pastor Micah Beckwith, and our Blue Christmas experience at Life Church is designed to give you a space to remember, to ponder, and to feel. If you're searching for healing this Christmas season, come to one of our Blue Christmas experiences and find a new freedom and joy during the holidays. Go to lcbluechristmas.com for times and locations.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Rob. Right now, schedule your free in-home estimate. For every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free, plus 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years. Restrictions apply. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Do you hear that? These are the sounds of our jeweler's workshop at Shane Company, where they're working their magic to bring beautiful, fine jewelry gifts to life. At Shane Company, we love jewelry as much as you do, and we know what it takes to create something special. No matter your budget, we craft our jewelry with expert care to be passed down for generations. With jewelry craftsmen in every store and an unmatched free lifetime warranty, we're here to make sure your jewelry always shines bright. Stop by and shop online at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Pierce Jewelers in Carmel, designers of fine custom jewelry.
Fox News, I'm Roger Stern. More calls to shoot down some of those mysterious drones appearing over New Jersey and now over other states. New Jersey Congressman Chris Smith says the military has the capability.
We need to deploy it, and that comes from the top. The Pentagon needs to authorize that.
Federal officials say drones have appeared over New Jersey military bases. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in the Middle East telling the group that has taken over Syria.
The rights of all Syrians, including minorities and women, should be respected. Humanitarian aid should be able to reach people who need it. State institutions should deliver essential services.
Blinken has already pledged support for the new Syrian government, though there is concern over the background of some of the groups, the terrorist background. America is listening to Fox News.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Hey there, Hoosiers. Are you ready to give your child a head start on their future? Indiana 529 savings plans are a simple way to save for their education. Plus, there are some great tax benefits. The best part? It's not just for college. Indiana 529 can be used for tech schools, trade programs, apprenticeships, and more. Start with just $10 a month at myindiana529.com to help them reach their dreams. Read the disclosure booklet carefully before investing. Sponsored by Indiana 529.
It's the holiday season, time to celebrate the moment, and that means a trip to Barrington Jewels and Clearwater Crossing. Give the perfect gift this year with new designs, breathtaking diamonds and gemstones, emeralds, rubies, sapphires, and more. Plus, you'll find all the top watch brands like Oris, Tutama, Young Hans, and Citizens, in addition to a wide variety of pre-owned options. And right now, for every $1,000 you spend, you'll receive a $100 gift card. Don't wait, get to Barrington Jewels today. And remember, you haven't seen a diamond until you've seen a Barrington diamond.
Get your home ready for the holidays with 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at only $129 and take $75 off air duct cleaning. Book online at zeroresindy.com.
Emmer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Prepare to deal with difficult people and situations at Sandler Training's 90-minute online seminar Tuesday, 2:30. Proceeds to Salvation Army. 317-678-8800.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle. I'm your bespectacled curmudgeon, Ethan Hatcher, podcaster on WIBC.com and my podcasting page, SaturdayNightOnTheCircle.fireside.fm. This week, I was invited on the Kendall and Casey show to discuss what I believe to be a mythic, monumental, gargantuan task that was completely insurmountable, moving Joe Biden into the top 2 worst presidents in United States history. It was a dubious proposition, but at this point, I believe it's arguable. And this was the discussion that we had on the Kendall and Casey show this week. Casey,
yeah,
this is our last chance to do this.
Yeah.
And here's what we have to do in the next 10 minutes.
Okay.
We have to convince Ethan that being a raging racist and running a crime syndicate is worse than just being a raging racist.
Okay.
I think we can do it.
I think we throw a few more things in there.
It's a little bit more than just being a raging racist. Well, right. But that's the big one, right? So Ethan Hatcher from Saturday Night on the Circle is with us. Throughout the past several years, we have been doing an ongoing bit on this show where we bring Ethan in every so often when Biden does something egregiously stupid or just egregious, and we ask him if he has moved up in his rankings of all-time worst presidents. Now, this started when Trump had said Biden was worse than the 5 worst presidents combined.
Yeah.
And so he said, no one knows more about history than Ethan. And Ethan, I think in the beginning, did not have Biden in the top 5. And now he has elevated himself to number 3. And I thought with the Hunter Biden pardon and then this list, Daily Mail had a list that came out of worst modern day
presidents, ranked him as the worst president in 47 years.
Right.
And this is according to registered voters.
That's correct. So, Ethan, there are 2 presidents you have ahead of Biden as of today, as you walking in here.
that are worse than him. It was Woodrow Wilson
and James Buchanan.
Now, I don't think there's anything we're going to do to break you on Buchanan.
No.
Because you say he caused the Civil War.
But he might inch into the number 2 position. I am now willing to be persuaded.
Wow.
I think there's an argument to be made.
So the argument is this, right? Biden I think there's evidence now, not there wasn't evidence before, but the past year has revealed, and the fact that he pardoned his kid back to 2014, that he was indeed running an office for sale scheme as vice president, and that his boy was the conduit to the Biden crime syndicate.
Yeah. The cosmic irony of pardoning the son for crimes that they attempted to impeach the former president for investigating. Like, it's insane.
But that's right. Like, Trump got impeached for
looking into the things that Hunter was
pardoned.
Yeah.
Okay, so Wilson. Right. Now, your big thing with Wilson is he segregated the federal government.
He resegregated the federal government, and in his capacity as president of Princeton, he also instituted the lost cause mythology, which kind of tried to salvage the reputation of the South. Like, oh, well, it was about preserving states' rights and not just about slavery, when it was 100% about slavery. And so, like, he did incredible damage to American history, and he did incredible damage to the American federal government.
Now, he also did the income tax, which is really bad.
Forever creating it as a political football, enshrining it in the Constitution, as well as creating what was the League of Nations, which ultimately became the United Nations, which is constantly
a lot of bad stuff.
Yeah,
no doubt. But we all know Biden supports the income tax, so it's not like he gets a freebie on that one, and he would probably make it even higher if he could.
He'd make it worse.
He'd make it worse, right? Okay. Now, the racism and the segregation, very bad, no doubt. But Biden is a total raging racist too, so he doesn't get. And he would probably segregate the federal government if he thought he could get away with that as well. Am I wrong?
Well, hey, he was the vice president to the first African-American president of the United States. So let's not totally get carried away.
Well,
I don't think he was Woodrow Wilson levels of haggard racist.
Okay, Casey, go ahead.
Well, I'm just wondering, okay, there's racism, and then he failed to police the anti-Semitism that's on the left. Wouldn't those two things be somewhat equal?
That's very true. All right. And see, this is why I said that there is now an argument to be made. I'm not fully convinced, but I think Biden could be the second worst president in United States history.
Not just modern history.
Right. Because I want to give you a chance to rank, because you actually looked at that list that Daily Mail had, and you have your own list
that
on
one,
that.
In some ways, was harder than picking the worst presidents.
I would agree. All right. So what do you have till what? January the 20th, 21st? What could Biden do
if he starts giving more blanket pardons to these clowns, like Liz Cheney or Adam Schiff, who says, "Oh no, I don't want any part of it," or Mark Milley or the other assorted clowns that were in cahoots with the Biden crime family? That would definitely 100% push him over the
top.
By the way, who are 4 and 5 now? I've lost track.
4 and 5 are Harding and Johnson.
I love that he has it on his phone. It's permanently engaged.
Yes, he's got this list.
Johnson as in Andrew Johnson, not Lyndon Baines Johnson.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So we will continue to keep Ethan. We'll, at least one more time, we will have Ethan come. We probably ought to wait till the last day, because he's liable to start pardoning these people.
He might do something else goofy.
That's
You're
true, right? So, okay, so we've still got about a month to go before we'll have you back, provided we're still here one final time. Okay, so the top, it was not in the 9 presidents, right? There's been 9 over the past 50 years. Is that right?
Well, actually, that was the funny thing about this list. As I was putting it together, I'm like, what? They missed 4.
They did miss 4. Does anybody count 4? The Daily Mail just say 4?
He wasn't elected, so they don't count him. No, they had Ronald Reagan, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Jimmy Carter, H. Bush, Trump, Nixon, Biden.
But he was president, does it?
He was president.
Yes. He almost got killed twice.
Yeah.
They tried to shoot Ford twice within like a week of each other. That's how bad he was as president.
And prior to Joe Biden, he was also known for falling down the stairs.
That's right. Okay, so do you want to go worst to best or best to worst?
Let's go worst to best.
Okay, very good.
I actually had a harder time trying to go from best to worst. Like, best is obviously Ronald Reagan.
Right.
So we put number 1 out of the way, but it was hard
to
go the other way. Now, on the other hand, I think the worst, obviously, Joe Biden, Jimmy Carter, Barack Obama, Richard Nixon, Bill Clinton, H.W. Bush.
You're putting H.W. Bush was not as bad as Clinton.
If there was no H.W., there would be no Iraq War.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I'm surprised, because Clinton did for all his, I mean, he lied under oath and all the other stuff, but he did have a balanced budget. He had a gangbusters economy. I'm surprised you are putting.
He also did a song and dance bait and switch when he claimed welfare reform, but he actually just switched all the welfare recipients onto SSI and created a whole other bag of worms. And he allowed these egregious interest rates, and he started what became the nationalization of school loans, which took hold under Barack Obama, but he kind of got the ball rolling.
Can't believe I'm arguing for Bill Clinton. All right, so you've got Clinton. So it's Biden, it's Carter, it's Obama, it's Nixon, it's Clinton, it's H.W. Bush.
Yeah, but that's why it's harder to go from the top down,
right?
Because that means H.W. Bush is the fourth best president in modern history.
That is bad, isn't it?
And that didn't really make a lot of sense.
No, that's.
And you know what? That meant George Bush was the third best.
George W. Bush.
In modern...
So you've cut Ford out of this too. Ford's off your list too. See, even you had Ford off the list.
I would probably split the difference. I would put him between HW and Bill Clinton.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that's what has happened to our country where George W. Bush is the third best president
in modern history.
And then you know, of course, who number two would be?
Would be Trump.
Yeah.
And okay. That's also not great because Trump was not a great president. He was an okay president. He did some good things. The foreign policy stuff was great. He did some stuff on the border. The tax cuts were fine. But the spending and the COVID, the COVID and the spending.
So now you see the dilemma that I reached, because it was way easier to start working from the bottom of the worst.
Yeah, that's true.
But you only have 9 positions. So by that logic, then, yeah, I guess Trump would be number 2.
And there was only one obvious one, which is Reagan is number 1.
Reagan was number 1.
There's only one obvious one.
But is it as obvious that Biden is the worst?
I mean, in modern history, yeah. I would say definitely.
He's worse than Carter.
Worse than Nixon.
No doubt, right?
Yeah.
Okay, real quick, I have to get to this. You posted this. I love this. You've acquired a priceless work of art.
Yes.
And I cannot believe it is in your possession. I think this is the coolest thing ever.
I hit the Facebook Marketplace lottery.
Tony talks about this every morning at 7:30, the Facebook Marketplace.
You missed on this one.
I love to check on it. I just happened to be browsing, and I saw an item that was just listed in Muncie, Indiana, of a cartoon napkin drawing by Jim Davis, the creator of Garfield.
Wow.
And he gave it to a woman who worked at Cactus Charlie's in the 1980s when Garfield was only in his 5th year of syndication.
So wait, so this woman
purchased it from.
So
the
he was
original
at
owner.
that restaurant.
Yes.
And he was
apparently she served him many times. His headquarters of Paul's Inc. was in Albany, Indiana for many years, and that's just around the corner from Muncie.
So he was at this restaurant. This was very early on before Garfield was this mega thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a thing.
He already had a TV show by the early 80s. So Lorenzo Music was already the voice of Garfield.
Oh, really? So it was a thing at this point.
It was the 5th year of syndication. He was syndicated in 78, and this was 83 when the napkin art was made.
And this drawing, do you have it up on your Facebook and Twitter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can find it on my Facebook or Twittering at Ethan Hatcher, ETHANHATCHER.
That's it's so cool. Like, I saw this and I said, I bet you paid, untold amounts of money for this, because it's a really cool drawing on a napkin. It's personalized to this woman. Her name was
Kathy.
Kathy, right?
And he said you should have been Kitty because you're the cat's meow.
Yeah, it's like the coolest thing ever. This legendary cartoonist from Indiana, and you got it for like $9.
I got it for $100.
That's
it was
amazing.
A steal. Because the woman was pissed at her grandkids. Her grandkids didn't appreciate the art, didn't appreciate her antiques, and so she wanted to give it to somebody.
Ethan, I know you love your record players, and I know that's your baby, but when you bring women back to your place, you have to show this to them first. They will be throwing their underwear at you
Right?
if that is the first thing you present
You're
to
going
them.
to put it under glass?
Hide the record players, show them the Garfield drawing.
It's already framed and on my wall.
I love that.
There we go.
Ethan, you're the best.
Thanks for having me in, guys.
Thanks for coming in.
That was a great segment on the Kendall and KC Show. I'm always pleased when they invite me in. And you can hear more of my program Saturday night on The Circle. We got one more segment coming up. Don't miss it on 93 WIBC.
Once again, you've heard the bell and answered the call for the 30th anniversary WIBC Radiothon for the Salvation Army.
Sam is still counting. We'll have an official total.
Presented by Financial Center. You've helped families in need throughout central Indiana.
Certainly, Merry Christmas for many in our community. $504,532.36.
Thank you from Financial Center and 93 WIBC.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Around here, it's a little less about presents and a little more
about presents. To celebrate, to share, and to give thanks. To be there. And right now, you can be there in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Shop any of Hubler's 12 locations or visit drivehubler.com and choose from over 2,000 vehicles. Chevys, Fords, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. Plus, every Hubler Q-certified vehicle includes a 128-point vehicle inspection and a free Carfax history report. You can be there for years to come because Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. Happy holidays, Indiana. Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations. May your season be full of presents. Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
A radio lead is a serious lead, and our sales percentages reflect that tremendously.
How can a partnership with WIBC serve your business?
My name is Jim Williams, and I am the owner of Galaxy Concrete Coatings.
Qualified leads.
I think it was about 2004 that I was approached about radio advertising. Didn't really think it was going to help me much. But the interesting thing is over a period of 5 years, it got stronger and stronger every year. You know, we have like 10, sometimes 20 different ads that we're running.
Deliver your message to the audience that matters.
Radio is the first thing we start with because you do get calls that you can set leads and create sales from.
Text business to 71007 to take your advertising to the next level.
We close like 40% of a radio ad. We close like 20 to 25% of our other mass media ads. I mean, that's a home run.
Get results with WIBC.
Teachers shape the future. Right now, in a classroom somewhere in the United States, there's a teacher inspiring a future scientist who'll make preventing pandemics their life's work. Sharpening the mind of an aspiring environmentalist who'll help combat climate change. And generating possibilities for a student who'll be the first in their family to graduate college. Explore a career that leaves a legacy you can be proud of. Teach. Learn more and receive free support at teach.org.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra is making its way back to Gamebridge Fieldhouse on December 19th with an all-new show, The Lost Christmas Eve Tour. For tickets and more information, head to WIBC.com.
And the waitress is practicing politics as the businessmen slowly get stoned. Yes, they're sharing a drink they call loneliness.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Coasting things to a close here on this Saturday evening. In fact, getting ready to coast things to a close for the entire year. I can't believe that 2024 is almost done and away with, and we're going to be entering a quarter century into the new millennium. God, if anything makes you feel old, that will. Now I feel like an ancient old man. This is getting ridiculous, but entering into the new year, we're going to be excited, and there's reason to be as Donald Trump won the November election. So hopefully January will signal a turnaround, a shift that we have been anticipating away from the enormous failures of the Biden administration. Now, as far as my plans are concerned going into the new year, you and I, we only have one show left together next weekend. That will be December 21st. And then I am out the weekend of the 28th and the 4th. I am going to my annual yearly trip to a New Year's trip to Pennsylvania to visit with friends. I'm always excited to do that. Hopefully get some antiquing done in Adamstown and some other local antique stores, Lemoyne. It's always a great time to visit Pennsylvania and just relax, take things in. So I will be gone for 2 weekends, again on the 28th and the 4th, but also I will be gone on the 11th because we are preempted by Sportsgetball that evening, once again thwarted. So there will be 3 weeks in a row you will be bereft of me. I apologize. That's just how it works out with the holidays, but We have one show left together next weekend, so don't miss it. Please tune in to the final episode of Saturday Night on the Circle in the year 2024 coming up next week. And in the meantime, I leave you with my parting words of wisdom. As always, wherever you are, whoever you're with, whatever you're doing, remember that life is a state of mind. See you next week. Last show of the year, ladies and gentlemen, on 93 WIBC.
Days after President Biden's controversial pardon of his son Hunter.
93 WIBC.
The biggest act of clemency in one day for any president ever.
No one is above the law.
Hear the news.
The toppling of Syrian president and dictator Bashar al-Assad.
Another news update is minutes away.
Thieves taking packages.
They utilize a Ring doorbell, notifies you when someone's at the house.
Drug trafficking ring that was disrupted. Arrested 2 people. Meth, cocaine, and marijuana.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
I've tried just about everything for my ED. Big name brands, awkward appointments, the whole deal. Nothing felt right for my lifestyle until I found Hardee's from Zelty. Pre-planning, waiting an hour, it took all the fun out of dating. But Hardee's changed everything. These dissolve fast, working in as little as 15 minutes and last up to 36 hours. Plus, they cost up to 90% less than big name brands with the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis to keep me going strong. No appointments, no hassle, and completely discreet. That's right. Zelty is 100% online with fast, free shipping. Plus, powerful results that cost around 90% less. For a single guy like me, Hardee's made dating fun again. Text TERM to 200-300 to see if you qualify for fast-acting, long-lasting ED medication. Get your free medical review now. Text the word TERM to 200-300. That's TERM to 200-300. Don't wait. Text now. Hardee's from Zelty. TERM to 200-300. TERM to 200-300.
Got family coming over this holiday season? I do. It's Terry Stacy, and before they get here, I need a couple of rooms painted. Cardwell Do It Best Home Center has got a full line of best look quality paints produced by Sherwin-Williams on sale now through Christmas with $10 off per gallon. Paint and primer all in one with custom computer